Hello and welcome back to Rage Gaming, and finally Expedition 2 of Ark Raiders. I want to provide you with a step-by-step guide to an extremely strong position after one day of play. So here we are, day 1, it's 11 PM. I've been playing for about 7-8 hours maybe. As you can see, we're level 22. And as I'll outline in this video, the skill tree plan is well underway, where we're heading to the priorities of things like broad shoulders, looter's luck, and I will be going for an early security breach this time around. So Scrappy's good to go, and we have the full level 3 benches. I'm really happy I've managed to get this done on time for this video. I'm going to make some money to get the final stash upgrades next, and then progress into some serious XP farming. So the point of that is to show you that it's not a theory. I've done it literally today. Here's how I've done it. Let's get into it. So what's the best way to maximize your fresh progression? Let's break it down step by step. It's a simple and efficient plan. First up, you want to fix your matchmaking. If your goal as early as possible is to make progress, then you should in all cases cut out PvP, at least for the period you're sorting that. Aggression matchmaking was hard confirmed not that long after the first wipe. And to set it up, it's easy. You load up a free kit and run yourself to the nearest player and let them kill you. Don't fight back at all. Then you load up another free kit and do it again. As Embark have vaguely explained, it's not an on and off switch. Naturally, you could have been a passive player for 100 raids, and you still might bump into a guy who's decided this raid, he's going to shoot people. But in my experience, it takes a few runs before you start to see a change from PvP lobbies to PvE lobbies. And then a few more runs after that before I stop seeing common raider fights here and there. And a few more runs after that before, it feels like there's no PvP in the lobby anymore. So with that in mind, I just run free kits into other players, letting them kill me maybe 4 or 5 times. Basically, the moment someone doesn't instantly shoot me on sight, I know I'm pretty much where I need to be. Initially then, you want a loadout. The first loadout I think you should run is based on a looting Mark 1. This gives you solid slots, obviously your safe pocket, and you'll be running light shields either way. I always recommend ferro as the starting point. Ferro is really efficient on your ammo because each shot is going to do good damage and cut through armor. The more you upgrade it, the less nightmare it is to use on its own. So at a minimum, never use a level 1 ferro, at least upgrade it to level 2 because as you can see, it's just a few metal parts. I would also say a minimum is level 3 to really help cut that reload time in half, but you do need at least one simple gun part for that. Ultimately, you can craft them really cheaply and buy them for very cheap as well. And depending on the reset here, you can buy a level 4 one for 9k coins, skipping the requirements of resources you might not have. And if you're in no PvP lobbies, you'll have this thing for a while. But as soon as possible, you would want to upgrade to an anvil, as we'll talk about. The only other thing I want you to think about is adrenaline shots. 5 at a minimum, 10 is a very good idea. If you don't have your mobility points yet, such as marathon runner and youthful lungs, running around takes a lot longer. Adrenaline shots allows you to bridge that gap, and even when you do have that, you go further faster. You want to get the loot and get out. It's very cheap to run adrenaline shots, just run them. Alright, now we're going, our first goal should be clear. We want to get the gear bench to level 2. The reason for that is because your main augment of use will be the looting Mark 2. Compared to our looting Mark 1, we're going to gain 4 slots. We're going to get the 3 augment slots, and we're going to get an extra safe pocket. This allows you to carry out more stuff, but maybe the most important part here is that your max loadout weight will increase, allowing you to carry heavier stuff, which will be a problem initially. As you can see, it requires 2 electrical components and 3 magnets to craft though. In a pinch, you can go to Celeste and buy your magnets here. You can buy 10 a day. But you can also gather them easily in any industrial area and break down other items into magnets like Exodus modules, microscopes, ripped safety vests, and of course, industrial magnets turn into a lot of regular magnets. The electrical components, on the other hand, you can find them in tech containers. You can also break down rotary encoders, fried motherboards, signal amplifiers, and hornet drivers too. Most importantly though, is getting the refiner online so you can access electrical components as a craft, which is just rubber parts and plastic parts. Scrappy even gives you these. So your first goal is level 2 gear bench. For that, you will need 5 electrical components, 3 power cables, and 5 hornet drivers. Meanwhile, to get the refiner to level 2, for example, you'll need 8 fireball burners, 5 arc motion cores, and 3 toasters. If you haven't done that yet, loot any tech location servers especially, and on the way, kill fireballs, and collect any arc from motion cores in general. Gather 5 hornet drivers from hornets, and hit up any residential location on the way for the toasters. Okay, a third step is a basic money injection. The main sink for your money will be stash upgrades. You won't need the max upgrade instantly, but you will want a good few to have the space you'll need. I'd say you want to reach towards 100k-ish for upgrades soon as possible, but on the way, having the funds to buy those anvils to upgrade from your default weapon is a big upgrade from a ferro. You don't want to go crazy on money farming, there's other priorities, but an initial sum to work with that doesn't take long is worth it. There are many ways to make money in Arc Raiders, but the most reliable and easy one is Stellamontis to this day for me. Ideally, I would spawn in and loot medical research and leave. Or I would spawn near assembly workshops and loot every container there and leave. If you get unlucky with a lobby or cultural archive spawn, it's not useless, but I would recommend you loot any containers around you and leave with a near to full bag quickly and then try again. Because the potential on the medical research side of the assembly workshop is hundreds of thousands, where the potential over here is a lot smaller. You can loot the cultural archives, looting loose loot on the sofas and chairs, and this corner over here especially. For old world loot, there's also the cafeteria for commercial loot, and over here across this bridge, the staff rooms by the loading bay where you might leave. There's a bunch of red lockers there. These are good options on the way to getting out quickly, but mainly it's as simple as looting medical and assembly and leaving as soon as you got a bag full of good stuff. Do this even 5 times and you probably have the money you need, and then you can move on. As another top money making option, I want you to check the map for lush blooms whenever possible. You want to do that for the money, but also the scrappy upgrades, as we're going to talk about. To do a lush blooms, just go to the map and pull up an interactive map online and filter by just the basket spawns. Run a short, simple route, picking all the loot out of the baskets until your inventory is full of fruit, and leave. The fruit can be sold for great money, but a lot of it will be used for scrappy upgrades, which is why I lean on lush blooms for that instead of wasting time going for specific maps for specific fruit. There's just one small problem with lush blooms right now. It seems like maybe during the hurricane event or maybe a different event it's overlapping, one of the events they've disabled is lush blooms. So for the moment at the start of the wipe, we don't seem to have access to it, but I fully expect it to be back pretty soon, as this has happened in Arc Raiders quite a few times. If you're in a pinch though, and don't want to pull up an interactive map and go to the specific locations for each fruit and gather them, then there's always Stellamontis. The cafeteria location has a locked room that needs to be powered up to open. The battery to do so is somewhere in the sort of main atrium area, usually on the ground level where I find it. Put the battery in the thing, door opens, couple baskets, that's a way to always find baskets, even if lush blooms isn't available. Outside of that, there are other events that you can make good money on, like Bird City is an easy one, even post-nerf, just chimney looting. There's also, Husks event, or say the Storm map event, where the Husks are free loot there, and you double up on useful stuff like arc parts, maybe get some free rocketeer drives. That is something to consider. Step 4 then, when you've got money and the ideal min-max loadout going with looting Mark 2, maybe some anvils to run, I think this is when you should get Scrappy fully leveled up. The goal is to just pay attention and go do a lush blooms whenever one's available, but as we currently don't seem to have them, be aware that you'll probably need to pull up an interactive map and go gather them like normal, or go to the Stellamontis cafeteria like I said earlier. But what do you need to get the Scrappy levels so you know what to save? Well, to get the first upgrade you just need a dog collar. For level 3, you want 3 lemons and 3 apricots. You'll need 15 apricots total though. For level 4 you need 6 prickly pears, 6 olives and 1 cat bed. And for level 5, you need 12 mushrooms, 12 more apricots, the 15 total, and 3 very comfortable pillows. So Lush Blooms is going to provide almost all of that. What you'll need outside of that is the dog collar, which is a residential spawn, the cat bed, which is a residential and commercial spawn, and then the 3 very comfortable pillows, which again is a residential and commercial spawn. So you can batch that together whenever needed. But as a special tip, I want to highlight the Buried City, and I want to highlight this location, the Red Tower by the Plaza Rosa extract. Specifically in the Red Tower room, there's a bunch of lockers and seemingly guaranteed spawns like humidifiers. Whenever I need those specific items for Scrappy, I just come here and do like 2 runs to go loot the Red Tower, and that's it, I've got what I need. So I strongly recommend that when you need the beds, the pillows, maybe the dog collar. Alright, step 5. A temporary focus on XP, where you hard grind XP to get to a functional state. Whatever that state is up to you. The purpose of this is progression, more loot, more value per run. You now have 85 points total to work with if you've done both expeditions. This will not require any of that. So, you can choose to go from here into more mobility or more stuff in the conditioning for like PvP. This is what I feel you're going to want. The first points should go into nimble climber and marathon runner, and then we're going to invest in these all the way with the remaining points, so that I can traverse the map really effectively and efficiently instead of painfully slow. The next priority points to spend are looter's instincts, in-round crafting, broad shoulders, and looter's luck. How you get to that is up to you. Here's how I'm going to do it personally. I'm going to max out looter's instincts first so that I loot faster. Then I will go 1 point revitalizing squat so I can get in round crafting. So I'm going to max out agile croucher just because I'm going to be crouching to deal with the arc here and there. And the last 3 points into silent scavenger. Anyway, that gets us to suffer in silence, where we can spend the next 5 points on broad shoulders. That's 11 points mobility, 21 survival, and now we have the huge 10 kg weight gain of broad shoulders. After that, there's immense value in looter's luck, so you occasionally proc that double loot when you are looting. From here, for max progression, you have 2 choices. Focus on getting to loaded arms to further help your weight, or go security breach because there's a lot of early loot potential, especially near wipe, that I missed out on. So this time, I'm going to go for security breach. So we're going to spend 1 point in good as new and fully max out stubborn mule. We're going to be over encumbered in these early days a lot. We'll pick up traveling tinkerer because it can be handy to be able to craft like a raider hatch mid raid. Then with the last points, I'll go 3 deep breaths, getting us to security breach. That's 48 total used. After that, my final priority will be loaded arms. So I'll go use the weight, gentle pressure, and max out proficient prior. The faster breaching will be the most useful thing there. If you're using medium shields, at this point you want to max out use the weight. Otherwise, the other relevant thing would be fight or flight. I'm going to go use the weight for the next 5 points. 1 point blast spawn, 1 point fight or flight, and then the last 2 points can go into fight or flight. We'll pick up unburdened roll, we'll go a little extra, and then reach loaded arms. That's 66 points spent, 10 more remaining if you've done no expedition at all, 20 more if you've done both. But that is going to be my max progression ASAP setup and the order that I'm going to do it at this time. How do you level up as fast as possible when you have limited resources? Generally, you combine search XP with arc kills. So you're searching every container you see, even already open ones for the bursts of XP. But you do this while running an efficient arc killing route, where you're killing every arc you see on the way that you can take on, with large arc as the main point, then leaving as soon as your resources are spent. Dealing damage will provide you with XP, kills will provide the XP. Every time you loot a container, whether that's arc or otherwise, that's more. Surviving adds XP, and the longer the raid, the more XP as well. You can also get XP by damaging raiders, knocking them, finishing them, and looting them. But that's PvP, and you'll probably be avoiding that at this point. But if you do see a dead raider, always at least touch the body for 500 XP. But what's the best XP route that I like to do? It is on Blue Gate. The reason is that if you spawn on the outskirts, whichever point you spawn on, you head to the checkpoint. There's a bastion spawn outside, and then another one just inside the traffic tunnel. There's hard cover at both locations, so you kill the bastion, and on the way every arc that you can get, and on the way out every arc that you can get. And then you repeat. The method is simple and can be done with a ferro, but of course the more investment you have, the better equipment, the faster it goes. The basic rule is simple. Focus a leg joint at the yellow until it's stunned by breaking the leg. Then you run to the side of the bastion and shoot into the core for a damage multiplier. Alternatively, you can go to the back yellow battery and break that off, which then exposes the core inside, which is what you want to shoot from that point on. Cheap and efficient ways to do this is use a gun like a ferro to break the legs, then use a higher DPS weapon to shoot the core, or the back battery. This could be cheap utility like impacts. It could be a basic sticher or kettle to do that job, but one bastion kill with a pile of small arc on the way is easily 20 to 30k XP or higher and can be done in 10 minutes or less. We can speed that up by investing more. The two obvious investments are say the deadline mine and the hullcracker. The deadline mine is now more expensive, 1 per day as before, but 18k instead of 15k. Meanwhile, the hullcracker is 30k for the initial purchase of the gun, then the expensive launcher ammo 4.5k per 6 shots. In that case you'll be buying 24 though for 18k. The deadline is minimal risk. You just break a bastion leg or whatever, then go up and place the deadline mine while it's stunned, and that's it. One kill, but that's it, that's the deadline mine. The hullcracker, when used properly, will speed the kills up by a huge amount and last longer. You run the hullcracker as a secondary and bring a stack of 24 launcher ammo in the safe pocket. If you die, the ammo is saved. You don't spam shoot this thing. You use a different tool, gun, weapon, a ferro, and break a bastion leg. And while it's stunned, that's when you pull the hullcracker out and shoot the core from the side for really efficient damage. Or maybe the back battery and then the core when it's exposed if that's what you want to do. This way you're using a few launcher shots per kill, you speed the kill up a lot, it lasts many kills in a row, and you get the money you invested back by selling the parts. Cheaper alternative utility options are grenades. This scales too. Impact grenades cost almost nothing to craft. I tried to bring 10 or 15 when that's what I'm using. Against a bastion, you can throw it into a leg for safety for speeding that part of the stun up, or it could be your main source of damage. You expose the core and then throw all the impacts into the core. A higher investment of that would be then the snap blasts. Also cheap to craft, but even better, the trigger grenades. The point of the snap blast or the trigger grenades is not to waste them on anything but a weak point. Stun it by breaking a leg using your gun or whatever, and then attach these grenades to the core, the weak point, to optimally kill it as fast as possible, costing you less grenades to craft and speeding up the kill. Okay, the next step then is obviously getting all your stations to level 3. Let's start with level 3 gear bench, which requires 3 industrial batteries and 6 bastion cells alongside 5 advanced electrical components, which you'll get by refining them. For the bastion cells, I'm doing the XP run that I just explained, where mainly I'm focusing on bastions and pulling the cells out, so you just save them. Since that's already on the map Blue Gate, we can double up and run industrial battery spawns on the way. There's a perfect spot on the way to extract after I finish the bastion, or maybe on the way, which is the warehouse complex in general, all these buildings and containers. This is where I found all 3 of my industrial batteries last wipe, so that's what I'm running again this time. For the other priority, which is maxing out your refiner, level 3 of that requires 3 motors, 10 arc circuitry, and 6 bombardier cells. Thankfully, you can again use the level 2 refiner to craft arc circuitry in a pinch, or pull it honestly from the larger arc we're killing. There's also arc probe runs where you can pull out loads of them too. For the motors, I am efficient with the Blue Gate run. I'm doing that run where I go kill the bastion around checkpoint, and all along that location are a bunch of vehicles, which when I need the 3 motors, I'm just looting along the way, pulling the motors out during these runs. For the bombardier cells, we can just change our priority and hunt down bombardiers in specific. But I do recommend you overinvest on bombardier kills, bring a deadline mine, and kill them fast and efficient. Don't let them fight you. For level 3 gunsmith, you're going to need 3 rusted gears, 5 advanced mechanical components, and 4 sentinel firing cores. We'll refine those advanced mechanical components. The rusted gears come from the same cars we're looting at the checkpoint, so you're doubling up on the motors and the rusted gears there. Then the sentinel firing cores, you just want to run sentinel spawns wherever possible. On Blue Gate, there's literally one that spawns in the checkpoint inside where that bastion is, so I would farm that at the same time for the first 4 cores I need. But don't forget, you can pull out different parts, say surveyor cores, sentinel cores, from arc couriers littered around the map, so when you need those, do be looting them every time you see them. Next we have the explosive station level 3. This requires 3 laboratory reagents, 5 explosive compound, and 3 rocketeer drivers. Kill rocketeers where you need to, or go loot downed husks and hopefully pull them out, which is very possible. For the explosive compound, we have the new comets, which when killed drop those, so it's a great source of that. And laboratory reagents are just found in any medical location. I like Stella Montis runs at the medical lab area specifically, but there's also a great money running run that you can do on Buried City, so the hospital's there where you can hit that up as well while you're doing that. Next we have the utility station level 3. For that you're going to need 3 fried motherboards, 5 more advanced electrical components, and 4 leaper pulse units. We will refine the advanced electrical components, you'll kill leapers for the units, and then for fried motherboards, you just want to loot the server stacks in any location where there's tech on the map. Last one to mention then will be level 3 medical lab. For that you need 3 rusted shut medical kits, 8 antiseptic, and 5 surveyor vaults. So you can hunt down surveyors for that, or again, loot the couriers. This can spawn these types of cores in them. It's perfect. Meanwhile, the antiseptic and rusted shut medical kits, they come from any medical location, so the Stella Montis medical research area, or say spamming the hospital on Buried City, that's how I get those really quick. Next you have step 7, which is the key blueprint quests. There are specific quests that unlock blueprints. The trigger grenade is the most important one, which comes from the quest Sparks Fly. After that, you might consider the hullcracker blueprint and launcher ammo blueprint, which comes after the major's footlocker. And then the other 2 you might think about that don't really matter are the lured grenade blueprint from greasing her palms and the burletta blueprint from industrial espionage. Every other quest might have a relevant use for reward, but those are the most relevant in my opinion. And around that time, you might start to think a bit more about something like your trophy display. Intentionally gathering these parts to progress your trophy display to pull blueprints and other useful items that could really power you early. How much you care about this on your initial progression is up to you. But I would say around this point, you'd be thinking about all of your stash upgrades being bought and moving into the final step, which is step 9, XP farm, and maybe blueprint farm on the way where you care to, using the methods we talked about already. but more efficiently by running better gear, more investment, killing more arc in one run, that kind of thing. Once I have a solid loadout, I'm not killing, one bastion a run. I'm killing say 3, maybe 4 large arc a run, and then leaving and doing it again. As a little mention of it again, the blueprint transfer trick worked last time, so if you had any key blueprints that you passed to a friend, now's the time to transfer it back. How that works is very simple. You have a friend that did not wipe, did not do the expedition, so you gave him blueprints that you were saving before the wipe, and now he just gives you them back, and you leave the raid and learn them. If you had planned to do that beforehand, now's the time to take advantage of that. But if not, it's not that big of a deal. Blueprints are a lot more common, and we'll have a blueprint guide for you in... But yeah, there you have it. That's my step-by-step guide for early, efficient progression in the wipe. This is one of my favorite times of the game right now, while we're still waiting for major content updates. Having a reason to grind maps and go to specific places and gather stuff, it's really enjoyable for me. I hope this helped you, and if you have any other extra advice for anyone, let us know in the comments. But drop a like on the video, and until next time, I've been Hollow, you've been you. Thanks for watching.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.